Okay, so I'm just replying to giving a Muslim indigestion. Um, I don't know what to say. Um, First, I'll try to agree with you on a few things, and that is that I do have a short attention span. That's why I usually use these notes. So every time someone writes or puts something, I put them down and I respond based on those. Um, I do agree that I can make mistakes. Yes, what I was talking about, I looked at some things. I can always acknowledge mistakes or certain things. Um, some of the examples that I was giving you were not exhaustive. They were just comprehensive. Um, Galen did perform the cataract surgery. It was not the first one. It was in India. It was performed, and before the Greeks, which you always brag about. I looked at, I know about Hippocrates and many other of the philosophers, and I'm not saying, and I'd never said anything on such an extent that I put down Greek philosophy or their achievements. I never said that. I never claimed that exclusivity to the Muslims and to the Quran. I never said that. That's the whole point. Ladies and gentlemen who are watching this, that's the whole technique of people who are very smart. I'm not going to attack your intelligence. I think you are smart. That's not what I'm saying. I think, though, however, that you are proud and arrogant. And I'm not going to attack your intelligence. I know you're smart. I can, see by the way you speak and the things that you talk about. No one says you're not smart. Of course, you did attack my intelligence, which is always, attempt to ridicule, to win a debate. Usually, most, people who think highly of themselves still try to put down their opponent by doing such. Attacking me on attention span and my intelligence, questioning my qualifications. These are all debate tactics. It doesn't take a scientist or any amazing smart person to realize this. So I hope that the listeners and the viewers are realizing that. The philosophy of the apple that you're giving me, however, I think I can turn around and push it at you and ask you how much research did you do into Islam, and not just go based on Richard Dawkins' books and other things, right? But how much research did you do on Islam, not going into people and typing or trying to disprove Islam, but actually looking at the Quran and trying to think outside of the box and ask such question as if Muhammad was busy with watching his back from people trying to kill him, and if you know anything about the Quranic revelation, it did not come all at once, nor was he going around and talking to everyone and trying to get different things from different people. If you know the history of Islam and how many times that he went, for example, to Syria, to meet Bakhira the monk once and some other scholars, that happened probably twice or three times for a very short period of time. Not enough for him to get all this so-called plagiarism to be put in the Quran and to be written in the Quran. Anyhow, you contradict a bit yourself on the fact that you said that the people wrote the Quran after the Prophet Muhammad. The Quran was written in the time of the Prophet Muhammad. If you would know the history and all the Hadith book and all the history of Islam, for example, in the most authentic Hadith, whenever the Prophet would receive a revelation, he would call someone and say, come and write in the name of God, the most gracious, most merciful, and then he would put the verses, and they would write them on scraps of bones and skins and so on and so forth. So again, I'm not going to attack you of ignorance, but again, you're narrow-minded. You're not looking for all from all the angles. Your theory about Prophet Muhammad going and getting it from different people is amazing, yet it's just a theory, right? I'm not asking you to pick apples for me. I'm asking you for you to go and do your research, just as you're asking me to go. Yes, I admit that Galen did cataract. I was probably just talking about in general. If I made a mistake, I admit it. I'm willing to look. I look and I research. That is not the point that we were talking about, ladies and gentlemen. It always seems that whenever we talk about certain aspects, the second or third video is far away from the first initial topic that we talked about. And you started ridiculing the Quran and talking about the certain scientific miracles around it. And I even agreed with you that some of those things that some people talk about are just ridiculous and don't exist. However, there are some things that even you say, and the only explanation that you have is that Muhammad plagiarized him. And then again, you go around talking about people put the book Quran after Muhammad. That's your only explanation, and it's a theory. I want you to just consider that. The Quran came over a period of 23 years, in which most of the time, Prophet Muhammad was watching his back, was involved in different campaigns, fightings, and so on and so forth, establishing the Muslim state and many other things. Now, let's say he did have time to go around to talk to the Greeks, okay, who were, for the first 10 years, because he was in Mecca, that's where the caravans of different people would come around. Let's say he did have the time to sit down. There's so many people coming there, and knowledge was not established in such a way that you would think that we have today. For example, someone can challenge certain knowledge. Do you think, in your mind, which you're a smart person, that he would have risked not just, but his integrity, not just at that time, but his whole integrity, because he's claiming here something, that he's getting something from God, and now he's got billions of followers. Do you think he would have risked his integrity on just a hearsay, word-to-mouth thing? We don't risk our integrity on hearsay today unless we check things. And you think Prophet Muhammad would have risked his integrity and his message supposedly, or is to expose himself, just on hearsay, that I heard this from more than one person, so it must be true. More than one person today says that there was no such thing as a Holocaust, right? Again, I don't want to be put in jail, so I'm not denying it, I'm just using it as an example. So if I hear from more than one person, do I just say, oh yeah, there's no Holocaust? No. You base it on proof, empirical proof. Okay? I never said that certain things in the Quran were not mentioned by people before. No one ever made that claim. The Quran doesn't, if you read it, doesn't say, hey, we have exclusivity. This is the first time you ever heard about this. Read the Quran. It's not even worded like that. Whenever it talks about, for example, the embryo, whenever it talks about the sea and other things, it's to make a point. It doesn't say that this is the Quran, therefore this is true, and to prove it, here are my scientific miracles that no one ever heard about. So see, my friend, you twist things in such a way to put me down, to put everyone down, put yourself above in such a way that you are the only one who has a mind and a brain and can look at things. And I think that's just arrogant. I'm not going to call you ignorant, because you're not. You're smart. You're arrogant. I'm not trying to win any converse whatsoever. The Quran specifically says, "Inna alayka al-balagh wa alayna al-hisab." To you, it is just to warn people, and it's to God to hold accountable. I don't care about scoring numbers. I don't score numbers. Do you want me to pull the list of how many people converted because of my efforts? I'm not gonna do that. That's between me and God. How many people did you call to your ideas? I don't care about it whatsoever. I'm not trying to block Greek achievements whatsoever. I look upon him. If you look at, for example, the PBS series on Islam Empire Faith, it all talks about the whole issue of people translating Greek documents. We know it. I never deny it. I know that. I studied that. I totally, did the numbers, the concept of zero developed from the Indians, and so on and so forth. No one denies that. I think it's an amazing, it's a proof for the open-mindedness and push of Islam, and which came from the Quran. Talk to any Muslim. Me, myself, and all the scholars from before said, just from the word iqra, which was the first commandment, they were pushed to read and study and to learn. And that's where the scientific advancement came from. Not from like, oh, look what the Quran's saying. This is exclusivity to the Quran. No one ever said that. And those who said that, as I said in my first video, I agree with you. Some of these claims are ridiculous. Okay? So let's try to be fair. If you're disappointed, you want to go back in time, you want to, it's ridiculous, right? That we have to, put in mind, we're going to go back in time and see Muhammad in a cave, and you would be disappointed. How do you know what you would see there? How do you already know? You're jumping to a conclusion. You're so 100% into knowing that you're right.